If you're interested in entrepreneurship, if you're interested in leadership, if you're interested in trying to make sense of social media and being effective as a public speaker, this is the man. This is the guy. Very innovative, very interested in problem solving, but most interested in pleasing God and loving people. Jason Archer, Spring Arbor Communication and Media grad. Let's give him a welcome.
Dr. Patton, I hesitate in saying anything here because I don't want to offend you, but I just really feel like counseling might be good for you to help, because you're not really positive or encouraging enough, and it would really help more if you could kind of work on energy. And I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you out in front of your students like that. It just seemed like I don't know. I was just feeling that, and I wanted to share that with you. I want to show you guys a quick picture because I can empathize. So this is 1994. This is me and my buddy Mike King. We were working at WSAE, the afternoon drive. How many of you were born in 1994? Dang. Okay. So, all right. So that was the year you were born, and that was the radio station in circa 1994. My buddy Mike was sporting the mid-90s mullet, you know, little short on top, long in the back, soccer style. I had borrowed Bill Cosby's sweater, and we were actually playing music on records, these things called records, and compact discs. That's how WSAE was in 1994. Okay. And so as far as kind of talking about how things have changed since 94, so I was a freshman in 1990, Ormston, then lived over in Lowell. So our freshman year on Ormston Hall, if my parents wanted to call me, they would call a payphone at the edge of our hallway, and somebody would have to answer it, and if we weren't there, you would post messages on the corkboard. I mean, this wasn't that, I mean, as 20 years ago, it's not that long ago, there was a payphone at the end of your hallway. Now your parents are texting you. You're not texting them back, but they're at least texting you, right? So if you wanted to write a paper in 1994, you wrote it on paper with a pen. There was no such thing as a personal computer. There was no such thing as a laptop. There was no such thing as the internet. There was no such thing as having a phone in your dorm room until I think our senior year, where you had to call like AT&T and have them install a phone in your dorm room. So papers were written on paper. There was no research online. There was no I mean, it sounds to me like you're like, I think I just saw Jurassic Park and this guy was in it. Like, it seems like it was a lifetime. That's right. That's right. It was a lifetime. It seems like it was a lifetime away, but it wasn't. It really wasn't that long ago. It really wasn't that long ago that I was sitting where you guys were sitting and taking notes on paper, and I wasn't playing Angry Birds or like blogging at the same time, right? So in a short period of time, on the innovation scale, technology has gone. They call it a hockey stick curve. It's not even like this, it's just like this, right? I mean, if you go to Google News right now, I mean, something on the science of technology, there's something coming out every single day now. There's something new coming out every single day. March 7th, the new iPad comes out. Everybody's waiting for it, right? What's the big announcement going to be? You know, the latest BlackBerry Playbook just came out. Nobody still cares, you know, but over and over again now, the hockey puck growth curve on innovation goes like this, and it has gone like that since 1994. So I want to tell you guys just a quick story. The hat that I'm wearing in the picture is actually this hat. So it's as you can see, it's a ratty old hat. Guys, you're like, that's a sweet hat. Ladies, you're like, oh my word, that's so nasty. So it says NYC on it. So I went on the New York City missions trip my junior year, and rather than getting t-shirts, we were the urban people, too cool, so we were going to get fitted ball caps. So we all got sized up, black of course, okay, and we did our missions trip. Senior year, I was a PA, or do you call them TAs or PAs or whatever? Who's the, whatever they call that for Core 100? Is that a TA now? PA? Okay, it's a T. Okay, so whatever, the A, something A. So I was the student leader, and so we're in Cedar Bend, right? And at Cedar Bend is like a walk in the park condo trip for you guys now. Back in the day, Core 100 was completely different, and the Cedar Bend experience was completely different. It was a lot more on the rougher side. Yeah, we still did kill the chicken and stuff like that, but one of the exercises that we did was when you were in the valley, and of course, the night that we were in the valley was the night when it was like 31.5 degrees and raining, you know, that weekend. And so we're huddled around the fire, and one of the things that we had to do was we had to make a spoon out of a piece of wood. Okay, did you guys have to do that at all? Okay, you still have to do that. So you got the piece of, this is my little Starbucks spoon, but you had to do like the ember, and you're blowing on the ember, and it's cold and it's rainy, and we're sitting around the campfire, and I'm blowing on this ember, and all of a sudden the ember pops, and it lands on my hat. And so you can, if you can see, it basically kind of it looks like somebody bit the hat. It kind of took a chunk out of the hat and burned the thing. And so it made a great memory around the campfire that the leader was like jumping around like I was on fire, throwing my hat on the ground as we were making our spoons before we were killing the chicken at Cedar Bend. Okay, and my wife Mickey and I, both Spring Arbor grads in '94, we still look back at the experiences that we had when we were students, and we still say those were some of the best years of our lives. They were some of the best years. So we had no idea how good we had it, you know, or how influential those years were. And so when I kind of tell you a little bit, what time does this end? 10:50, 11? What time is it? 11? Okay. When I kind of weave together some of the story of where I've been in the last 2 years and some of the things that we've done at the denomination, a lot of what I learned in the last couple of years, Spring Arbor's fingerprints and the things that grew in me through my experiences as an undergrad and even working here, being a part of the community, has really helped shape some of the things that shape the denomination, because I'm a part of that at a significant level now. So it really has made a difference, but dang, a lot younger, a lot skinnier, and a lot more hair. I miss my hair. So anyway, so why leadership matters. I'm going to tell you guys a couple of, my goal is, my remote's not working, so I'm going to be back here a little bit. My goal is to kind of share with you kind of a case study on how a denomination is in the process of changing its strategic communication plan, and what we did and how it's working and not working in that process. And then my hope is to finish up in enough time to be able to have you guys have time to ask questions if you want. I'd be happy to talk with you afterwards too. So what I start off with sometimes when I talk about what is the strategic communication plan for the Free Methodist denomination. So my role is I'm the executive director for communication, which means that I oversee communication strategy and implementation for a worldwide denomination. It's a pretty daunting task. How is that even possible? I have no idea. So I'm just winging it. And that's a good leadership principle too. Just admit it. You're winging it. You're doing the best you can with what little you have. So you're pulling a Moses. So I don't know how to speak. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. But you're in the space, and so be obedient in the moments, right? So in 2 years, we've gone from someplace to someplace. And the idea of leadership, when you're leading somebody towards something, that means that you're also leading them away from something else, right? You know, I mean, even remember the story of Moses when, you know, he's leading the people out, and what do the people basically do for like 40 years? They bellyache the whole time. We liked it better when we were slaves. We wish we had this. We hate you, Moses. You're a horrible leader. We're miserable, that kind of thing. So there's actually a book that I read called The Land in Between on leadership, how to lead when you're in the desert. How do you make sure that people understand where the destination is? So you're leading people from somewhere to somewhere. And this is the image of what our communication strategy is. It's the strategy in a nutshell. So obviously it's the image of an iPad. But what you may not be able to see is inlaid inside the image of the iPad is the very first piece of strategic communication from the Free Methodist denomination. We just celebrated our 150th anniversary in Rochester, New York at Roberts Wesleyan, and actually Dr. Patton was B.T. Roberts walking around. He was sporting his best Abraham Lincoln and did some amazing things. Spring Arbor was represented very well at General Conference, so you should be proud of that. But inlaid inside the image of the iPad is an image of the first piece of strategic communication. It's dated January of 1868, printed in my hometown, Rochester, New York. It's the first issue of the Free Methodist. Who are the ad wizards who came up with that? But the general idea 150 years ago is a brand new movement of God, and some people got together and they said, how can we figure out a way where the people in this new denomination can figure out where we're going, what the plan is, and then also figure out a way where they could actually tell their story of how they're responding, in that. Who are they in the story? So what's the story? What's the plan? And who are they in the story? Hey, there's this really cool idea called a newspaper. What if we innovate and make a newspaper? Now, it's old now, but 150 years ago, it was an iPad. So that was an iPad 150 years ago. And if you actually were to go to Indianapolis, to our world headquarters, they actually have a Marston Historical Center there where they have all of this old stuff. Broadcasting people would be fascinated to go down there. They've actually have like an old studio set up and all those kind of things. But in there you could actually touch and read that 150-year-old newspaper. And the interesting thing is, one of the first articles in the first issue of the first piece of strategic communication for a brand new denomination is on innovation. It's in Old English, so you got to kind of, there's a lot of ye's and thou's and stuff, but when you read it, the heart behind it is it's innovation. And so I use this to use this as an example of 150 years ago. We look at that and say our forefathers, they were cutting edge. What are people going to say about us in 2012, 150 years from now? What did we do? Did we just kind of stay status quo, or did we kind of go for it? Did we swing for the fences? And I'm a swing for the fences kind of guy. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I was invited to kind of lead this team and lead this strategy, because we're aiming for the fences. So here was I want to show you guys what we had in the pantry when I arrived. I just actually 2 days ago celebrated 2 years at the denomination. So I've only been there a short period of time. I'm a new guy. I remember some of you guys from Com 110 back in the day. I apologize. So this was the homepage for a worldwide denomination 24 months ago in 2010. Don't answer this question. If I were to say I'm a part of the Free Methodist Church and I took you to the website and you had your first impressions, what would they be? Don't answer. Okay. These were examples of websites that were part of the denomination. There were 25 different domains, 25 different websites. These are just an example of 3. Do they look like they go together at all? Don't answer that question. And we also had in the stable a magazine, called Light and Life magazine, and it was about 36, 38 pages. It was printed every other month. And it went out to about 30 to 35,000 people every other month. So context-wise, there's about 100,000 regular attendee families in the U.S., a couple million worldwide. And the magazine was hitting about just south of a third of all regular attendee families every other month. Award-winning, fantastic magazine, and really is the evolution of the Free Methodist. So it was a newspaper, and then it turned into this and that. There's been several evolutions. And it's been Light and Life magazine, I don't know, maybe 40 or 50 years. I don't know, it's been Light and Life magazine for a long time. So we had an ineffective, outdated website. We had about 25 different child sites that were made 150 different ways, not cohesive at all. And we had an award-winning magazine. This is a organizational chart of our staff. When I arrived 2 years ago, this was what our team was for the denomination. We had an executive director, an assistant. We had a bunch of people that worked on the magazine, and then we had some people that wrote some curriculum, some like denominationally things, and then we had 2 people that made video. So that was the staff at the time. Okay, and we were, I won't take a long time on this, but for consecutive years, the department was also in debt, meaning we spent more money than we made. So we had a bucket of money that was supposed to come in, and we spent more than we were supposed to spend. So the department was unhealthy from a financial standpoint as well. So we had a number of challenges, right? We didn't have a cohesive brand. It wasn't connected at all. We were underwater financially. And we had an award-winning magazine, and we had a staff for that magazine. So one of the things that Jim Collins talks about, and I'd highly recommend anybody who has any entrepreneurial or leadership bones in their bodies, I would definitely recommend that you read this book, Jim Collins, called Good to Great: Why Some Companies Succeed and Others Don't. And basically it's a case study where he takes 2 companies and he talks about when they reach a certain point, they had to confront the brutal facts of their organization. And one company did and grew and thrived. The other one didn't and tanked. And so the question is, when you're coming into a worldwide denomination that's really behind on the communication side, what are the brutal facts that we needed to address? And confronting brutal facts means that you don't ask questions like, you don't make comments like, well, this is the way that we've always done it, or that'll really upset Frank, or, you know, that's probably not what so-and-so would like. You know, those aren't the questions or the comments that you ask or think about. It's a spreadsheet meeting, meaning you're taking emotion, you're taking people out of the equation as much as possible, and you're confronting the brutal facts. What's broken? What's the diagnosis? So like, for instance, a couple of years ago, I had some pain in my stomach, and I thought, man, did I eat too much Pizza Hotline? You know, did I, you know, was it what is going on? I'm really not feeling too well. And it got from bad to worse to where I was kind of like in a short period of time, I'm in bed and I'm kind of crunching. I'm like, I'm like, there's something definitely wrong right now. And so we went to the hospital, and they did like they did a bunch of junk that doctors and nurses do and stuff on me or whatever. And basically within a short period of time, the diagnosis was, your appendix is about ready to burst. We need to get you into emergency surgery immediately. And like, so then it was the first time I'd ever had surgery. It's the first time I'd ever been like unconscious, and I'm kind of freaking out and stuff like that. But basically within about an hour to an hour and a half, I went from laying in bed in pain to unconscious and then taking a part of my body out of my body, okay? The diagnosis was, you're gonna die if we don't take out your appendix. It's about ready to burst. The conversation wasn't, I wonder why my appendix feels this way. Whose fault is that my appendix is feeling kind of funky? Are you sure you know what you're doing? Should we think about this a little while longer? I'm not sure we're ready for this transition yet. It was, this is the diagnosis, this is what needs to happen, do it, okay? So Collins encourages us to kind of confront the brutal facts, and I'm going to share with you one of the brutal facts that we confronted with our team. And then at the end, share with you just a couple things that I learned. So this is one of the brutal facts. There was no cohesive strategy. And I'm just going to talk about cohesive strategy. Steve Jobs, in his 2007 keynote address at WWDC, Worldwide Developers Conference in San Francisco, 2007 was the year that they unveiled the iPhone. And I was fortunate enough to be working at Spring Arbor and was at the conference in the room at Moscone Center when he unveils the device for the first time, and we're all drinking the Kool-Aid and drooling and stuff like that. And so how many of you guys have an iPhone or an iPod Touch? Raise your hand. iPhone or iPod Touch? Okay, most everybody in the room, right? So that happened in 2007, and what Steve Jobs did in his keynote address for the iPhone, when he talked about Apple, he talked about innovation and leadership, he quoted Wayne Gretzky and said, I skate to where Gretzky says, I skate to where the puck is going, not to where it is. Wayne Gretzky, the greatest hockey player ever, I'm not a big hockey fan, but I love this guy. You know what his nickname is? Anybody hockey fans know what his nickname is? The Great One. That's his nickname. The Great One. Seriously, it's like biblical. I'm sorry, I guess I shouldn't say that, whatever. The greatest hockey player, and he talks about what his strategy is. I skate to where the puck is going, not to where it has been. Does Apple do that? I mean, is that part of their DNA, right? When the iPhone came out, nobody had ever even thought of or heard or perceived about something like this, right? It was just completely off the map. A touchscreen interface, software on your phone. Do we really need this? So Apple skates to where the puck is going. How many people have an iPod? Okay. How many people have a Zune? One. Thank you, that brave person, right? So iPod, skate to where the puck is going. Zune, skate to where it already has been, right? iOS, skate to where the puck is going. Android, skate to where it's been, right? iPad, skate to where the puck is going. BlackBerry Playbook, skate to where it's been. I mean, you guys, if you pay attention, there's a lot of people that mimic innovation. But there's people that mimic innovation and lead, and then there's people that lead. And so when we were kind of looking at our denomination, we didn't want to go, what are the Nazarenes doing? We should probably do what they're doing. Are they doing some cool stuff? That's Zune thinking, right? We wanted to think beyond that, not just go from being behind to in the middle of the pack. We wanted to go from behind to leading the pack. We wanted to be the place that other denominations are looking at going, what the heck are the Free Methodists doing? They're crazy people, all right? We wanted to be those types of people, and we want to attract those types of people. So we had, rather than looking at what Nazarenes are doing, we looked at the market. Let's pay attention to the market. Confront the brutal facts. We don't have a strategic, cohesive plan. What's the market saying? Well, the market's saying that smartphone volume is going pretty crazy. It's more hockey stick growth. How many of you have a smartphone? Okay, more than half of you guys have where you can download apps and you can kind of do kind of thing, like you have a color screen, all those kinds of things. So we had to pay attention to the fact that smartphone volume is growing at an exponential rate. Morgan Stanley came out with a study about 1.5 years ago on the iPad saying that it is probably the most significant mobile device in history. And if you read the article, they actually hint at the fact that the iPad could actually eventually rival the growth of the telephone. Okay? So when the iPad first came out, the knock on the iPad was, nobody needs an iPad, right? They're creating this thing that nobody needs, all right? People have computers, they have smartphones, they don't need this. It's a vanity device. It's just for like people that are like your geeky, bleeding edge people, maybe for rich people, but it's not for everyone. Is that true? Like how many of you have an iPad right now? One, couple, two. How many people wish you had an iPad? Okay, more? Okay. So if I were to give you $500 right now, would you buy an iPad? That would be great if I did too, right there. That's right, I see that hand. That's right. So market trends are saying smartphones and tablets are probably where the puck is going, right? So that's probably where we need to head. So our old wineskin was a great magazine and an ineffective, outdated website. So we had to make a change strategically of where we're going to head. So we're going to head to a move to multiple. What if a story was a story, and it didn't matter where the story was, you could just read the story. You could choose, I want to read it on paper, I want to read it on a mobile device, I want to read it on a tablet. A story is a story is a story. And then, like I mentioned before, we were reaching about 36,000 people with our current, in 2010, 2011, we were reaching about 36,000 people. So the plan was, for the exact same amount of money in our budget, we would be able to, with a web, mobile, tablet, print initiative, where we would change some things, where we would lead people away from something to something, that we could extend our reach from 36,000 to 1.2 million every month for the exact same amount of money. And so what we would do, and we would move from 1 delivery mechanism to 4, we would make all of that content collaborative, And we would also have the content be in English and in Spanish. So we would go from one language to two, and we'd go from 36,000 to 1.2 million. Paying attention to market trends and being good stewards of what we had in our bucket of money for budget. This is where our play was. So going back to the original, confronting the brutal facts. If we're going to make that play, if that's the game plan, take a look at that org chart. And what don't you see on that org chart? If we're going to web, mobile, and tablet, what don't you see? Don't see any media. Do you see the word web there at all? No? Okay. What do you see a lot of? Magazine and video. You don't see any web. You don't see any social, right? So confront the brutal facts. If you've got the plan, and you look at your team, and the team doesn't line up with the plan, one of two things need to happen. A weak leader will change the plan for the team. A strong leader will change the team for the plan. So, not saying that I'm a strong leader, I had some help. And I'll talk about that later, but this is our team today. So, we have somebody that works on the magazine, a new magazine. We have a web architect. We have a photographer who does social media and writing and photography. Somebody that I keep bumping into that. Special projects person who does kind of process project management. How many of you guys struggle with organization? Struggle with organization, getting on task, procrastination, those kind of things, right? Okay, a couple of you guys raise a hand. The rest of you are liars. Okay, but we got to have, as creatives, we're just naturally like ADD, like so we need to have somebody that's like not going, what are you getting done? So that's our person that helps keep us on task. A graphic designer, and then we have somebody that's working on internal communication. How can we make sure that every pastor understands what the plan is, and how can we collaborate and communicate with them? So that's what our team looks like today, okay? And just let me do like a quick advertisement. Dang. Let me just do a quick advertisement on this because we're short on time. But I want you guys to hear this. So we did a lot of transition in the last 24 months where a lot of people on our team left or were asked to leave. And I hired a bunch of people in a real short period of time. So let me just give you this maybe if you don't hear anything else, hear this, okay? The people that I hired this year, I did not hire any specialists. And faculty, if you can walk out, I didn't look at their transcripts either. Do you know what I was interested in when I was hiring people? I wanted to hire a leader. I wanted to hire a critical thinker. I wanted to hire a problem solver. I wanted to hire somebody that was just sharp, that got it. I didn't care how great they were in Photoshop. I didn't care how great they were in Final Cut. I didn't care how cool they were in writing, okay? I want you to be a decent writer. I want you to be decent at Final Cut. I want you to be decent at Photoshop. But what I want you to be more than that is just an excellent person that knows how to think, okay? Like as communication professionals, I don't have a whole lot of time to teach you how to drill and practice. Like we don't, because we're innovating a lot of the stuff, the script isn't written yet, so we can't give you a job description to say, do this. What I've hired people to do is I've said, rather than do this, be this, okay? And just figure it out along the way. And so everybody on our team, like the person that does photography, he doesn't just do photography. He can write. He understands how to do stuff on the web. He understands and he's learning about social, how to create social space, so that a denomination can have a voice. There's no roadmap for it, so he's figuring it out. I'm not telling him how to do it. I've just said, I believe in you, figure it out. And he's going to do it. Okay, so, and I would venture to guess, guys, that most of the places that you guys are going to be looking for work are looking for that similar type DNA. I'm not looking for a worker. I don't want workers. I want leaders. So I'm going to invest time in them, but I want them to be able to do more than just kind of be a one-trick pony. So what I do when we were looking at people and hiring, the first thing that I do when I was looking for these people when we got to these places is I went to their website. If you don't have a website, you don't even get an interview. So, and if your website's bad, you definitely don't get an interview. So if you're a communication professional, you have to have a place where you can display the things, and you have to sell yourself. You have to promote yourself. You have to say, I am excellent, and let me show you how I'm excellent. So I didn't look at transcripts. I didn't call professors. I didn't care what the grades were. I just want to know if you can do it. Okay, and I'm looking for the right cultural fit. So I just want to encourage you guys with that. Like if you're not, like Dr. Patton was talking about, if you're not thinking about those kind of things, you've got to have a place where you can show the things that you've done, especially in the communication side. If you're like a chemist, you know, you're looking at, graduate school and GP and all this kind of stuff. But for me, what I'm looking for, I'm just looking for the right people that fit the culture, that get it, that can jump in, and that can make a difference. So those are the people that I hired. So I just want to encourage you with that. Okay, real quick, so I'm going to fly through this. So here was the old website, and this summer we rolled out this. It's fmcusa.org. So if you're ADD and you want to click on stuff like that, you can go there right now. fmcusa.org. And what we did, Light and Life, below the fold, you'll see here's that same content. So the same content that's on the magazine on the website. The next thing we did is we killed these and we made these. Do they look like they're a little bit more together? A little bit, maybe? A little sense of cohesiveness. We've got like a utility nav that pulls all the stuff together. We've got the same kind of style sheets that make the text, the layout all very similar, and we've given all of the different departments their own look and feel, but it looks rather than that we're strangers, it looks like we're cousins, and that's kind of the idea with the organization. And then we rolled out mobile and tablet apps. So if you guys want to go to Android Marketplace or the Apple App Store, you can search Free Methodist Church, and you can download them right now. So a video that we would play online, we would also be able to play on a tablet. We'd be able to put events, things that are happening in the life of the denomination, that Google Map, Facebook, tweet, email. And then we also would take the content for the magazine, and pow, it's on a tablet. And it's social and searchable. Actually, the guy that's in the back right there, Kevin, actually migrated most of the content for the tablet app. That's right. So I'd hire that guy in a hot second if I had the space for it. Because you know what he can do? He can do more than what he's doing right now. So, and the stuff that he has figured out, he's just innovated and figured out how to be more than just what he's learning in the classroom. So kudos to you, brother. In a hot second, I'd hire you. And you could name your price. Well, you could name it, but I don't know if I could do it. The other thing that we did is we created a website. Yeah, I remember the idea is what if we could create something like that newspaper where everybody in the denomination could understand where the movement is headed, right? A denomination's a movement. Where is the movement? Where are our leaders leading us? But then also, how are we responding to that call? Where are we in the story? And so we created a website called fmcusa.org/yourstory. Who are the ad wizards who came up with that idea? So it'd be a place where you could go and you don't have to have any technical skills. You can upload a picture, you can tweet the hashtag of things that's happening in your church, or you could just type your name, upload a couple of pictures, and write a paragraph about what's going on. One of the things sometimes that denominations fail to do is they only talk about their rock stars, right? The mega churches. Well, the average size Free Methodist church is 100 or under 100. So how do we celebrate that? Like when I was a church planner in Utica, New York, we were planning a church. There were only 9 of us in the church in a storefront, kind of like where Ichiban is down the street. That's where we were kind of one of those kind of places. We had 9 people, and we wanted to do a vacation Bible school. How do you do that? So we had a youth group come from Michigan. One of my buddies who's a Spring Arbor student was a youth pastor in Jackson, actually. And he brought his youth group out, and we did a vacation Bible school at our church plant in Utica, New York. And we had like 5 kids show up for our vacation Bible school. Now, they were 5 kids that we never had. They were brand new. That was for a church of 9 people, that was a huge success. But how do we celebrate that? How do I share that story with other people going, do we care about our communities? Are we reaching out? Sure, 1,000 people didn't come to know the Lord, and we didn't have it on TV. We had a small youth group come to a storefront. We did a vacation Bible school, and 5 kids came. So how do we celebrate that? Well, this would be a mechanism where the local church could have a voice. Okay, so synthesis time. So now I'm halfway through. I'm just kidding. Remember, I was in your seat, so I'll finish up real quick. I've got 5 key kind of takeaways. 1, take calculated risks. Okay, take calculated risks. We did the research on the market, right? Where is the market heading? It's solid research. It's not fake. So it's a calculated risk that we're going to move into these spaces. It's not like we're just jumping off of a cliff. The other thing that I would encourage you is if you're leading, like even today as you're leading, or if you think about innovating kind of beyond or taking kind of things to the next level, this is part of the Spring Arbor concept too, that we are constantly in a state of learning. So you're learning in your successes, but sometimes we don't celebrate learning in our failures too. So as innovators, as communication professionals who are kind of taking things from point A to point B, don't be afraid to fail. Give yourself permission to fail. Celebrate your failure. Don't revel in it, but learn in your failures. As innovators, you're going to make mistakes. And I say this a lot, that we got it right more than we got it wrong. But we did get it wrong times. And so what we did is we took time to figure out what did we mess up on and then learn from it. So take calculated risks and don't be afraid. Second thing, do hard things. When you're leading people away from something to something, the people that the away part sometimes gets a little tricky. Okay, so understand and discern what's right, and then do it. And that comes in a couple different things, which kind of leads into this next one. Don't do it alone. Okay, so I have no experience whatsoever as an executive leader. I'm working at Spring Arbor University. Like I'm teaching, I'm hanging out with faculty, I'm working on my master's. You know, I'm a nobody guy, and then all of a sudden I'm thrust into an executive leadership position for a worldwide denomination to take them from a place to a place that I don't even know where we're supposed to go. How am I supposed to do that? I'm ill-equipped for the task, right? I'm not seasoned at all. How am I going to do that? Well, 1, I'm gonna trust the Lord a lot, but 2, I'm going to invest in people that have done the things that I've done before, and I'm going to force them to mentor me. And I've read a lot on this. If you don't have a mentor, you need to get one, and it's your responsibility. It's not theirs. Find people who are ahead of where you are, and invest time in pursuing them. Read the stuff that they read. Find the people that you want to become, okay? Like either online or through books or those kinds of things. And then also find people in your community or even outside of your community that could be a mentor for you. I had 4 mentors that I picked and asked them in different seasons for different things. I've had 4 people who have walked with me. One of them walking with me through having to fire somebody. It was one of the scariest moments of my life. Okay, I've never fired somebody. I'm going to change this person's life. I don't know if this is the right thing. Maybe I shouldn't. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm talking to my mentor, and it's the do hard things. Is this the right thing for the organization? Yes. Does it line up with the strategy? Yes. Does it confront the brutal facts? Yes. Will it make the organization healthier? Yes. Is it easy? No. Okay, so what my mentor did is he actually walked with me through the whole day. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to say. This is what you don't want to do. And then this is how you want to organize the whole day. This is the email that you want to send out. This is when you want to send it. All those kinds of things, right? And then at the end, call me. So I walk into the room. I'm shaking like a leaf. I sit down and I fire somebody. They walk out the door and I'm physically ill, and then I call my mentor right afterwards. How did it go? Replay the thing. So when you don't know how to do stuff, you've got to find people that know how to do the stuff that you're doing. Find a mentor. And then nurture a network. You guys need to build a network of people around you that aren't at Spring Arbor. You can start with Spring Arbor, but professionals. So again, going back to, if you want to do video, read online, find the best people that do video and read the things that they read their blogs, comment on them, do the things that they do. Use those people as inspirational pieces and build a network. And then the last thing is organization first. Nothing else matters. So when you can come to the place where where you are, you believe in the organization, and you can submit to that organization, and you believe in it so strongly that organization comes first, then then you have freedom. So the decisions that we made in the last 24 months that were hard decisions, I was able to sleep at night because we prayed about it. We seek wise counsel and mentors. We had great leaders. I had great leaders, the bishops that were above me, that I ran all of those key decisions through a filter. And my heart is for the organization. I mean, I'm getting a little verklempt even just thinking about it right now. Like, I want the Free Methodist Church to be the shining light of the evangelical church. I want people to look at our denomination and go, God is in this place. God is in these people. So I want HTML code and tablet apps to reflect that. So that I know where my place is in that, but I believe in the organization so strongly that I submit to that. It's organization first. So when we made those hard decisions, I was able to generally sleep well at night. Some nights I had to go in the hot tub to relax a little bit. Sometimes I had to call a friend. So that's kind of where, and so that's where we are right now, and we are in process. And we're out of time, but we're in process. Have we arrived? No. Am I the greatest leader ever? Heck no, okay? We're all still winging it, but that's what communication professionals do. Like, we understand that we're in process, we're on the innovative side, and we are constantly in the state of learning and growing. But our heart is for the Lord, for the Father, and what His heart wants. And then our desire is to see the organization follow in line with that. So when our motives and our hearts are angled that way, and then when we have some skill sets, mostly coming from Spring Arbor, then we're able to kind of set a denomination's trajectory. We have reset the strategic communication for a worldwide denomination in 24 months. And I know kind of the best is yet to come. So anyway, you guys got to go somewhere else. So thanks for that. Yeah. I've got a couple copies of the magazine if anybody wants to take one as they go, or business cards if you guys want to